Every morning, you wake up as either a creator or a victim of your financial destiny. And this single choice determines whether you will spend your life building wealth or explaining why you don't have it. Right now, in this very moment, you are exactly where your past decisions have brought you. Your bank account, your debts, your financial stress or freedom, none of it happened to you. You created it. Every dollar you have or don't have is the direct result of choices you made with your thoughts, your time, and your actions. I know this truth stings. I know part of you wants to argue with me right now, to list all the reasons why your situation is different, why circumstances beyond your control have kept you from prosperity. But here's what separates those who build wealth from those who build excuses. The wealthy take responsibility for everything, while the broke blame everything. Let me tell you about Sarah, a single mother of two who worked as a cashier making minimum wage. Every month, she had more bills than money. Every day, she felt the crushing weight of financial pressure. For years, she blamed her ex-husband, who left her with nothing. She blamed her parents who never taught her about money. She blamed her employer for paying too little. She blamed the economy, the government, the cost of living. Then one Tuesday morning, staring at an overdraft notice from her bank, something shifted inside her consciousness. In that moment of devastating clarity, she realized that blaming others had not added a single dollar to her account. Waiting for someone else to rescue her had not reduced her debt by one penny. All her anger and resentment had created nothing but more of the same financial struggle. That morning, Sarah made a decision that would transform her life forever. She looked in the mirror and said 5 words that would become her daily mantra: I am responsible for everything. Not some things, not most things, everything. Within 6 months, Sarah had eliminated all her credit card debt. Within 2 years, she had started her own cleaning business. Within 5 years, she owned 3 businesses and had achieved what she had once thought impossible. She had become a millionaire. What changed? Her circumstances were still challenging. She still had 2 children to raise alone. She still lived in the same town with the same economic conditions. The only thing that changed was her level of consciousness about who was responsible for her financial future. This is the first and most fundamental law of wealth creation. You cannot build riches on a foundation of blame. You cannot accumulate abundance while maintaining a victim mentality. The universe responds to your consciousness. And if your consciousness says, things happen to me, then things will happen to you. But if your consciousness declares, I make things happen, then you align yourself with the infinite creative power that flows through all prosperity. Right now, which level are you operating from? Be brutally honest with yourself, because your answer determines everything that follows. There are 3 levels of financial consciousness, and most people remain trapped in the first 2 their entire lives. The first level is the victim. Victims believe that money is controlled by forces outside themselves. They say things like, I can't afford it, rich people are greedy, the system is rigged against people like me. Victims focus on all the reasons why wealth is impossible for them, and the universe grants their belief by keeping wealth impossible. The second level is the survivor. Survivors make enough to get by, but they live in constant fear of not having enough. They focus on cutting expenses rather than increasing income. They save for emergencies because they expect emergencies. They work hard but think small. Survivors have accepted responsibility for meeting their basic needs, but they have not awakened to their unlimited potential for creating abundance. The third level is the creator. Creators understand that money is simply energy, and energy flows to those who are aligned with it. They think in terms of value creation rather than money getting. They ask, how can I? Instead of why can't I? They see every financial challenge as a problem to solve rather than a limitation to accept. Creators have awakened to the truth that wealth is not something you pursue, it is something you become. Which level describes your current relationship with money? More importantly, which level are you willing to commit to develop? The difference between these levels is not talent, education, or luck. The difference is consciousness. And consciousness can be changed in an instant through the power of decision. But making this decision requires understanding a fundamental law that governs all wealth creation, the law of cause and effect. Every financial result in your life is an effect. Behind every effect, there is a cause. Poor people focus on effects. They worry about bills, complain about prices, and stress about money. Rich people focus on causes. They develop skills that increase their value. They create systems that generate income. They plant seeds that will grow into financial harvest. When you focus on effects, you feel powerless because effects are beyond your control. When you focus on causes, you feel powerful because causes are within your influence. This is why wealthy people remain calm during economic storms while poor people panic. The wealthy know they can always create new causes that will produce better effects. Most people have this completely backwards. They spend 95% of their mental energy worrying about effects, and only 5% of their energy working on causes. Then they wonder why their effects never improve. It's like planting weeds and expecting to harvest flowers. The moment you shift your focus from effects to causes, you begin thinking like a millionaire. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, you ask, how can I afford? Instead of complaining about your low salary, you focus on increasing your value to the marketplace. Instead of worrying about bills, you concentrate on creating additional income stream. This shift in focus is what separates those who say, I want to be rich from those who declare I am becoming rich. Want is a wish, becoming is a process, and the process always begins with taking complete responsibility for your current results and complete ownership of creating different results. Now, here's where most people make their fatal error. They accept responsibility intellectually, but they don't embrace it emotionally. They understand it in their minds, but they don't feel it in their hearts. They agree with the principle, but they don't live by it daily. True financial responsibility means that every morning when you wake up, you ask yourself, what will I think, say, and do today that will move me closer to my wealth goals? It means that every evening, before you sleep, you evaluate, did I act like someone who is becoming wealthy, or did I act like someone who is staying broke? This daily practice of conscious accountability is what transforms good intentions into actual results. Most people have moments of inspiration where they decide to change their financial life, but they lack the discipline of daily evaluation that makes change inevitable. Money is not just currency, it is a measurement of the value you create for other people. The more problems you solve, the more needs you meet, the more value you provide, the more money will flow to you. This is an immutable law of the universe, as reliable as gravity. But here's what most people miss. You cannot provide value to others at a level higher than the value you place on yourself. If you don't believe you deserve wealth, you will unconsciously sabotage every opportunity to create it. If you don't feel worthy of abundance, you will find ways to push it away even when it's offered to you. This is why financial transformation must begin with inner transformation. You must first become the kind of person who naturally creates wealth before you can have the wealth. You must develop millionaire consciousness before you can live millionaire reality. The pathway to this consciousness is not complex, but it requires something most people are unwilling to give: consistent daily effort applied over time. Wealth building is not about grand gestures or dramatic changes. It's about simple disciplines practiced daily until they become automatic habits that produce extraordinary results. Once you accept complete responsibility for your financial destiny, you make a profound shift that changes everything. You stop being someone who hopes for better circumstances and become someone who creates better circumstances. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating opportunity. You stop depending on others for your security and start building your own foundation of financial strength. This shift in consciousness is the difference between those who spend their lives working for money and those who learn to make money work for them. It's the difference between those who are controlled by their financial circumstances and those who control their financial circumstances. But accepting responsibility is only the foundation. Once you have this foundation firmly in place, you must understand the second fundamental principle of wealth creation. Success is never about changing your circumstances. It's about changing yourself. Most people approach wealth building back. They focus on finding the right investment, the right business opportunity, or the right strategy. They believe that if they can just discover the secret method, they will become wealthy. But wealthy people know the truth. There is no external strategy that can compensate for internal limitation. The reason most people fail financially is not because they lack opportunities. It's because they lack the personal qualities necessary to recognize and capitalize on opportunity. They don't need a better plan. They need to become a better person. They don't need more information. They need more transformation. Think of wealth building like farming. A farmer cannot change the laws of nature, but he can align his actions with those laws to produce a harvest. He cannot make seeds grow faster by yelling at them, but he can create the conditions where seeds naturally flourish. He cannot control the weather, but he can plant at the right time and prepare for different seasons. In the same way, you cannot force money to come to you, but you can become the kind of person that money naturally flows toward. You cannot demand that others pay you more, but you can develop skills and provide value that make higher payment inevitable. You cannot control economic conditions, but you can build your capacity to thrive in any economy. The farming metaphor reveals something crucial about wealth building. You cannot harvest what you haven't planted, and you cannot plant in the wrong season and expect the right crop. Every wealthy person has learned to plant the seeds of prosperity in their daily habits, thoughts, and action. They understand that today's choices determine tomorrow's options. But most people want to harvest without planting. They want wealth without the habits that create wealth. They want the results without the processes that produce results. They want to reap in autumn what they never sowed in spring. This is impossible. The universe operates according to precise laws, and one of those laws is that effects always follow causes with mathematical certainty. Plant seeds of discipline, and you will harvest success. Plant seeds of laziness, and you will harvest failure. Plant seeds of value creation, and you will harvest wealth. Plant seeds of excuses, and you will harvest poverty. The compound effect governs everything in your financial life. Every dollar you save or spend, every skill you develop or neglect, every relationship you build or ignore, all of these small actions compound over time to create your financial destiny. Consider this simple example. Two people, both 25 years old, both earning. Person A spends everything they make and saves nothing. Person B saves $150 per month and invests it at a 10% annual return. After 40 years, Person A has $0 saved. Person B has over $900,000. The only difference was $5 per day, less than the cost of a coffee and pastry. But the compound effect works both ways. Just as small positive actions compound into extraordinary results, small negative actions compound into devastating consequences. The person who overspends by $5 per day doesn't just lose $150 per month. They lose the opportunity for that $150 to grow into thousands of dollars over time. This is why wealthy people are obsessed with their daily habits. They understand that their morning routine, their learning habits, their spending patterns, and their relationship choices are the true determinants of their financial future. They know that you cannot have $1 million future with minimum wage habits. What does your morning routine say about your commitment to building wealth? Do you wake up early and immediately engage your mind with success principles? Or do you hit the snooze button and start your day in a reactive state? Do you spend the first hour of your day learning skills that increase your value? Or do you immediately get lost in entertainment that adds no value to your life? The wealthy understand that how you start your day determines how you live your life. They begin each day by filling their minds with wisdom, their bodies with energy, and their spirits with purpose. They use the early morning hours, when their mental energy is highest, to work on themselves and their most important goals. This is not about willpower, it's about understanding that your habits are either moving you toward wealth or away from wealth every single day. There is no neutral. Every choice you make is either a deposit into your prosperity account or a withdrawal from it. The person who reads for 30 minutes each morning instead of watching television doesn't just gain knowledge, they develop the habit of continuous learning that becomes their greatest asset. The person who exercises before work doesn't just improve their health, they build the discipline that carries over into every area of their life. These daily disciplines compound not just financially, but psychologically. Each time you choose growth over comfort, you build confidence in your ability to make the hard choices that wealth requires. Each time you choose learning over entertainment, you strengthen your identity as someone who is becoming more valuable. Each time you choose investment over immediate gratification, you align yourself with the mindset of the wealthy. But here's what separates the truly successful from those who start strong but fade. The wealthy make these choices regardless of how they feel. They understand that feelings are temporary, but habits create permanent results. They do what needs to be done, whether they feel motivated or not, whether it's convenient or not, whether others support them or not. This consistency is what creates the miracle of compound growth. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a month and underestimate what they can accomplish in a year with consistent daily action. They want dramatic transformations immediately, but wealth building is about steady progress sustained over time. The person who improves by just 1% each day doubles their effectiveness in 70 days. The person who improves by 1% each day is 37 times better after 1. This is the mathematic of transformation, and it explains why small changes in your daily routine can produce massive changes in your life results. Success is not about perfection, it's about progression. You don't need to make perfect choices every day, but you do need to make slightly better choices more often than you make worse choices. Over time, this small advantage compounds into an enormous difference in outcomes. The key is to focus on systems rather than goals. Goals tell you where you want to go, but systems get you there. A goal is to become a millionaire. A system is to save 20% of every dollar you earn. A goal is to start a successful business. A system is to spend 1 hour each day developing business skills and 1 hour each day serving potential customers. Systems are powerful because they make success automatic. When you have the right systems in place, you don't have to rely on motivation or inspiration. You simply follow your system, and your system produces the result. As we move forward, you'll see how understanding the patterns that govern opportunity and learning to eliminate the unconscious behaviors that sabotage success will accelerate your transformation from wherever you are now to where you want to be. The foundation of complete personal responsibility, combined with the daily disciplines of growth, creates an unstoppable force for financial transformation. As you begin to transform yourself through daily disciplines and complete personal responsibility, you start to see that life operates according to predictable patterns, and those who understand these patterns hold the keys to unlimited wealth. Most people live their lives as if everything is random. They believe opportunities appear by chance, that economic conditions are unpredictable, and that success or failure is simply a matter of luck. But this is the thinking of the financially unconscious. The wealthy know that everything operates in cycles, and within these cycles lie the greatest opportunities for building extraordinary wealth. Think about nature for a moment. Spring always follows winter. Summer always follows spring. Autumn always follows summer. Winter always follows autumn. This cycle has repeated without fail for millions of years. Nature doesn't panic during winter wondering if spring will come. Nature doesn't doubt during the dormant season whether growth will return. Nature trusts the cycle and prepares accordingly. Your financial life operates according to the same cyclical principles. There are seasons of opportunity and seasons of preparation. There are times for planting and times for harvesting. There are periods of growth and periods of consolidation. Those who understand these cycles and align their actions accordingly build wealth systematically. Those who fight against these cycles or ignore them struggle financially their entire lives. The first cycle you must understand is the economic cycle. Every economy moves through predictable phases: expansion, peak, contraction, and trough. During expansion, opportunities are abundant but often overpriced. During peak, everyone feels wealthy but smart money begins preparing for change. During contraction, fear dominates but bargains emerge everywhere. During trough, despair is greatest but foundations for the next expansion are being laid. Well, do you think most people try to build wealth during expansion and peak when everything feels good but prices are highest? Where do the truly wealthy build their fortunes? During contraction and trough, when fear is greatest but opportunities are most abundant. When the stock market crashed in 2008, millions of people lost money because they were buying when prices were high and selling when prices were low. But during that same period, those who understood cycles were purchasing real estate at massive discounts, buying stocks at fire sale prices, and starting businesses that would thrive as the economy recovered. This reveals a fundamental truth about wealth building. The best opportunities come disguised as problems. When everyone else sees disaster, prepared minds see possibility. When others are paralyzed by fear, those who understand cycles are energized by opportunity. But recognizing cycles is not enough. You must also develop what I call contrarian courage, the ability to act opposite to the crowd when your analysis tells you the crowd is wrong. This requires tremendous mental strength because it means being comfortable with being misunderstood, criticized, and sometimes completely alone in your decisions. The crowd is always wrong at turning points. When everyone is buying, it's time to sell. When everyone is selling, it's time to buy. When everyone says it's impossible, it's time to investigate. When everyone says it's guaranteed, it's time to be cautious. John D. Rockefeller built much of his wealth during the panic of 8. Warren Buffett's greatest investments were made during market crashes when others were fleeing. Sam Walton opened his first store during the recession of 1962. These men didn't succeed despite economic difficulties. They succeeded because of them. This leads us to the second cycle you must master, the personal opportunity cycle. In your life, opportunities don't come in a steady stream. They come in waves, often when you least expect them, and sometimes when you feel least prepared. The key to capitalizing on your personal opportunity cycle is constant preparation. You must build your skills, your network, your resources, and your reputation during quiet periods so you're ready when opportunity waves arrive. Most people do the opposite. They coast during quiet periods and then scramble frantically when opportunities appear, usually missing them because they're not prepared. How are you preparing right now for opportunities that haven't appeared yet? What skills are you developing? What relationships are you building? What resources are you accumulating? What reputation are you establishing? The wealthy understand that preparation time is never wasted time. Every day you spend learning, growing, and improving your capacity is an investment in your ability to recognize and capitalize on future opportunities. The third cycle is the value creation cycle. This cycle governs how you build wealth by serving others. In the beginning, you serve few people with simple solutions and earn modest income. As you improve your skills and expand your reach, you serve more people with better solutions and earn greater income. Eventually, you serve thousands or millions of people with exceptional solutions and earn extraordinary income. But here's what most people miss: you cannot skip stages in this cycle. You cannot serve thousands before you learn to serve one exceptionally well. You cannot create massive value before you master creating small value consistently. You cannot build $1 million business before you prove you can profitably serve a single customer. Each stage of the value creation cycle teaches you what you need for the next stage. The person who tries to skip stages usually fails because they lack the foundation that each stage provides. But the person who masters each stage systematically builds unshakable expertise and automatic success systems. Where are you right now in your value creation cycle? Are you trying to skip stages, or are you mastering your current stage so completely that the next stage becomes inevitable? The fourth cycle that determines your wealth is the learning cycle. This cycle has four phases: unconscious incompetence, you don't know what you don't know; conscious incompetence, you know what you don't know; conscious competence, you know and can apply what you know; and unconscious competence, your knowledge has become automatic wisdom. Most people quit during the conscious incompetence phase because this is when learning feels most difficult. They become aware of how much they don't know, and instead of being excited by the possibilities, they become overwhelmed by the challenge. But wealthy people love the conscious incompetence phase because they know it's the gateway to mastery. They understand that feeling stupid temporarily is the price of becoming smart permanently. They embrace the discomfort of not knowing because they know it leads to the confidence of knowing. How do you respond when you encounter something you don't understand? Do you avoid it, or do you lean into learning it? Your answer reveals whether you're thinking like someone who will build wealth or someone who will remain limited by their current knowledge. Now that you understand how cycles work, you must learn to identify your position within each cycle so you can make intelligent decisions. The wealthy constantly ask themselves, what cycle am I in right now, and what does this cycle require from me? When you're in an expansion cycle, the requirement is aggressive growth and calculated risk taking. When you're in a contraction cycle, the requirement is careful consolidation and patient preparation. When you're in a learning cycle, the requirement is humble receptivity and persistent practice. When you're in a value creation cycle, the requirement is focused service and continuous improvement. But here's the challenge: even with perfect understanding of cycles, most people sabotage their own success through unconscious behaviors that keep them trapped in financial mediocrity. Why do intelligent people with good intentions continue to struggle financially? Why do people who understand wealth building principles fail to build wealth? Why do those who start strong often fade back into their old patterns? The answer is self sabotage. And self sabotage is not random, it follows predictable patterns that you can identify and eliminate if you're willing to face the truth about your own behavior. The first pattern of self sabotage is excuse addiction. People addicted to excuses have trained their minds to find reasons why success is impossible rather than ways to make success inevitable. They collect excuses like trophies, always ready to explain why their situation is different, why their circumstances are more challenging, why the rules don't apply to them. But here's what excuse addicts don't realize: every excuse you make strengthens your identity as someone who cannot succeed. Every time you explain why something won't work, you program your subconscious mind to prove you right by making sure it doesn't work. Right now, what excuses are you carrying about why you cannot build wealth? Write them down. Look at them honestly. Then ask yourself, has making these excuses added $1 to my bank account? Has explaining my limitations improved my financial situation in any way? The second pattern is procrastination paralysis. Procrastinators wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity. They research endlessly but never act. They plan continuously but never begin. They prepare constantly but never perform. Procrastination feels like preparation, but it's actually fear disguised as prudence. The procrastinator is afraid of making mistakes, afraid of being judged, afraid of failing. So they stay in the preparation phase where they feel safe, never realizing that the preparation phase without action is just elaborate avoidance. The wealthy understand that action creates clarity. You cannot think your way to wealth, you must act your way to wealth. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. What have you been preparing to do that you haven't started yet? What have you been researching that you haven't acted upon? What opportunities have you missed while waiting for better opportunities? The third pattern is blame addiction. Blame addicts focus all their energy on who or what is responsible for their problems instead of focusing on what they can do to solve their problems. They blame their parents, their education, their boss, their industry, the economy, the government, everyone and everything except the person in the mirror. But blame is the most expensive habit you can have because it costs you your power. When you blame others for your situation, you give them control over your future. When you blame circumstances for your results, you make yourself dependent on circumstances changing before your results can change. The wealthy take responsibility for everything, even things that aren't their fault, because responsibility equals power. When you take responsibility, you can take action. When you take action, you can create change. Who or what are you blaming for your current financial situation? How has blaming them improved your bank account? How has focusing on their failures advanced your success? The fourth pattern is comfort zone addiction. Comfort zone addicts choose security over growth, certainty over opportunity, familiarity over possibility. They would rather stay safely unsuccessful than risk becoming uncomfortably successful. But your comfort zone is not actually comfortable, it's familiar. And familiarity can feel comfortable even when it's painful. Many people are more comfortable with familiar struggle than unfamiliar success because at least they know what to expect from struggle. The problem with comfort zones is that nothing grows there. Your comfort zone is where your current results come from. If you want different results, you must operate outside your comfort zone. This is not optional, it's a requirement. Where is your comfort zone keeping you small? What opportunities are you avoiding because they feel uncomfortable? What actions are you not taking because they feel risky? The fifth pattern is perfectionism paralysis. Perfectionists demand flawless execution before they begin, perfect understanding before they act, guaranteed outcomes before they invest. They spend so much energy trying to eliminate all possibility of failure that they eliminate all possibility of success. Perfectionism is not the desire to do excellent work, it's the fear of being judged for imperfect work. The perfectionist would rather do nothing than do something imperfectly, never realizing that imperfect action leads to perfect understanding. The wealthy understand that failure is tuition in the university of success. Every mistake teaches them something valuable. Every setback shows them what doesn't work so they can focus on what does work. They fail fast, learn faster, and improve fastest. What are you not starting because you cannot guarantee perfect results? What are you not attempting because you might make mistakes? What opportunities are you missing while waiting to feel completely ready? These self-sabotage patterns are not character flaws. They are learned behaviors, and what is learned can be unlearned. But unlearning them requires replacing them with success patterns that wealthy people use automatically. The success pattern that replaces excuse addiction is responsibility ownership. Instead of looking for reasons why success is impossible, You look for ways to make success inevitable. Instead of focusing on what you cannot control, you focus on what you can influence. Instead of explaining your limitations, you expand your capabilities. The success pattern that replaces procrastination paralysis is action orientation. You understand that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. You start where you are, with what you have, doing what you can. You know that starting imperfectly is infinitely better than not starting at all. The success pattern that replaces blame addiction is solution focus. Instead of asking who is responsible for this problem, you ask, what can I do to solve this problem? Instead of wasting energy on what others should have done, you invest energy in what you can do now. The success pattern that replaces comfort zone addiction is growth obsession. You understand that all growth happens outside your comfort zone, so you deliberately seek challenges that stretch your capabilities. You view discomfort as evidence that you're expanding, not as a signal to retreat. The success pattern that replaces perfectionism paralysis is progress orientation. You measure success by improvement, not by perfection. You celebrate progress in the right direction, even when it's imperfect. You understand that done is better than perfect, and perfect is the enemy of good. But knowing these patterns is not enough. You must create systems that make success patterns automatic and self-sabotage patterns difficult. The way to eliminate self-sabotage is not through willpower, it's through environmental design. You must structure your daily routine, your physical environment, your information intake, and your relationships to support success behaviors and discourage sabotage behaviors. If you struggle with procrastination, you must create systems that make starting easier than not starting. If you struggle with excuses, you must surround yourself with people who refuse to accept your excuses. If you struggle with comfort zone addiction, you must build challenge into your daily routine. The wealthy understand that your environment shapes your behavior more than your willpower shapes your environment. They don't rely on motivation to do the right things. They create conditions where the right things happen automatic. How is your current environment supporting or sabotaging your wealth building gauge? What changes do you need to make in your daily routine, your physical space, your information sources, and your relationships to make success more likely? The transformation from self-sabotage to success happens through daily choices compounded over time. Every day, you choose between growth and comfort, between responsibility and blame, between action and procrastination. These daily choices seem small, but they compound into life-changing results. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, you will have another opportunity to choose success patterns over sabotage patterns. You will have another chance to act like the wealthy person you're becoming rather than the struggling person you've been. The question is not whether you have the ability to make these choices. You do. The question is whether you have the commitment to make these choices consistently, especially when you don't feel like it, especially when it's inconvenient, especially when others don't understand. This commitment to consistent right choices, powered by systems that make success automatic, creates the daily disciplines that separate those who dream about wealth from those who build wealth. And these daily disciplines, when practiced with precision and persistence, transform good intentions into financial reality. Understanding principles means nothing without the daily disciplines that transform understanding into tangible wealth. These are the specific practices that separate the wealthy from the wish. You now know that financial transformation begins with taking complete responsibility for your results. You understand that success comes from changing yourself rather than trying to change your circumstances. You recognize the cycles that govern opportunity and you've identified the self-sabotage patterns that have been keeping you trapped. But knowledge without application is worthless, and application without consistency is powerless. The gap between knowing what to do and actually doing what you know is where most people fail. This gap is bridged only by daily disciplines, practiced with religious consistency, until they become automatic habits that produce extraordinary results. What separates millionaires from everyone else is not their intelligence, their education, or their opportunities. What separates them is their daily routine. Show me how someone spends their first hour of the day, and I'll predict their financial future with stunning accuracy. The wealthy understand something that escapes most people. Your morning routine determines your financial destiny. How you start your day sets the tone for every decision that follows. The person who begins their day reactively, checking messages, and responding to other people's priorities, will spend their entire life reacting to circumstances rather than creating circumstances. But the person who begins their day proactively, filling their mind with wisdom and their spirit with purpose, takes control of their destiny from the moment they wake up. Here's what the morning routine of a wealth builder looks like. And here's why each element is crucial to your financial transformation. You wake up at 5 a.m., not because you have to, but because you choose to. The early morning hours, or when your mental energy is highest, when distractions are fewest, when your willpower is strongest. These are the golden hours, and wealthy people claim them before the world wakes up demanding their attention. The first thing you do is not check your phone, not scan the news, not immediately dive into the day's tasks. Instead, you spend 20 minutes in financial visualization with emotional intensity. You close your eyes and see yourself living the wealthy life you're creating. You feel the emotions of financial freedom. You experience the satisfaction of providing abundantly for your family. You sense the confidence that comes from never worrying about money again. This is not wishful thinking. This is mental rehearsal. Professional athletes visualize perfect performance before competing. Surgeons mentally rehearse complex procedures before operating. Wealthy people visualize abundance before acting because visualization programs your subconscious mind to recognize and create opportunities that align with your mental picture. But visualization without action is fantasy. So immediately after visualization, you spend 30 minutes reading from books written by people who have created the wealth you want to create. Not articles, not summaries, not quick tips, full books that contain the complete thinking of successful people. Why books instead of other sources? Because books require sustained attention, and sustained attention builds mental discipline. Books contain deep wisdom that cannot be communicated in brief formats. Books are written by people who have spent years developing expertise, not by people seeking quick attention. What you put into your mind during the first hour of your day determines the quality of thoughts you think for the remaining 20. Fill your mind with the wisdom of successful people, and you begin thinking like successful people. Fill your mind with complaints and problems, and you spend your day focused on complaints and problems. After feeding your mind, you feed your body through 20 minutes of physical exercise. This is not about fitness, this is about discipline. Exercise is practice for making yourself do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. Every morning that you exercise, when you don't want to, you strengthen your ability to take wealth-building actions when they feel uncomfortable. Exercise also releases endorphins that elevate your mood and energy, giving you the physical and emotional resources needed to tackle challenging financial goals. Poor people often feel tired and unmotivated because they neglect their physical energy. Wealthy people maintain high energy because they understand that energy is the fuel of achievement. Following exercise, you spend 10 minutes in gratitude practice, acknowledging the abundance that already exists in your life while declaring your intentions for greater abundance. Gratitude is not just positive thinking, It's a frequency that attracts more of what you appreciate. But gratitude without ambition leads to complacency. So you balance gratitude for what you have with clear intentions for what you're creating. You feel thankful for your current income while declaring your intention to multiply it. You appreciate your current opportunities while calling forth greater opportunities. This morning routine takes just 70 minutes, but it programs your entire day for success. You begin each day with clarity about your financial goals, wisdom about how to achieve them, energy to take action, and gratitude that attracts more abundance. But morning routines are just the beginning. Throughout your day, you must practice the financial disciplines that automatically create wealth over time. The first discipline is the 70-20-10 rule that governs every dollar you earn. 70% goes to living expenses and enjoyment, 20% goes to savings and investments, 10% goes to learning and giving. This formula ensures that you're building wealth while living well, growing while giving. Most people have this backward. They spend first, save what's left over, and invest nothing in their own growth. Then they wonder why their financial situation never improves. You cannot build wealth with leftover money any more than you can build fitness with leftover time. The 20% you save and invest is not money you're losing, it's money you're redirecting from consumption today to abundance tomorrow. Every dollar you invest is a worker that never sleeps, never complains, and works 24 hours a day to build your wealth. But saving and investing random amounts when you feel like it produces random results. You must automate this process so it happens whether you feel motivated or not. On the day you receive income, before you pay any other bills, you transfer your savings and investment money to separate accounts where it can grow undisturbed. This automatic transfer removes the decision from your emotions and makes wealth building a systematic process rather than a sporadic effort. Most people fail financially not because they don't know what to do, but because they don't do what they know consistently. The second discipline is daily expense tracking that creates awareness of where every dollar goes. You cannot manage what you don't measure, and you cannot improve what you don't acknowledge. Wealthy people know exactly where their money goes because they track it consciously. This is not about restricting your spending, it's about conscious spending. When you track expenses daily, you become aware of unconscious spending patterns that drain your wealth building capacity. You realize how much money disappears on things that add no value to your life or progress toward your goals. Most people are shocked when they first track their expenses carefully. They discover they're spending hundreds of dollars monthly on things they forgot they were buying, subscriptions they're not using, impulse purchases that seemed small but compound into significant amounts. Daily tracking transforms unconscious spending into conscious choice. You begin asking before every purchase, will this move me closer to my wealth goals or further from them? This simple question eliminates thousands of dollars in wasteful spending annually. The third discipline is weekly financial review and planning sessions, where you evaluate your progress and adjust your strategy. Every Sunday evening, you review the previous week's income, expenses, savings, and investments. You celebrate progress and analyze setbacks. You plan the coming week's financial priorities and identify opportunities for increasing income or reducing waste. This weekly discipline keeps your financial goals active in your consciousness rather than letting them fade into good intentions. It ensures that you're always moving toward your targets rather than drifting away from them through neglect. During these sessions, you also calculate your net worth, your assets minus your liabilities. Net worth is the true measure of financial progress because it shows the cumulative result of all your financial decisions. You can have high income but low net worth if you spend everything you earn. You can have modest income but high net worth if you save and invest consistently. Tracking net worth monthly creates a clear picture of whether your financial decisions are building wealth or consuming wealth. This awareness motivates better choices because you see immediately how each decision affects your overall financial position. But managing money is only half of wealth building. The other half is increasing your ability to earn money by continuously developing skills that make you more valuable to the marketplace. The fourth discipline is daily skill development focused on increasing your earning potential. You spend at least 30 minutes each day learning skills that directly relate to your ability to create value for others. This might be technical skills that make you more effective at your job, communication skills that help you influence others, or business skills that enable you to create additional income streams. Most people stop learning when they finish school, then wonder why their income stops growing. But the wealthy understand that formal education gets you started, while self-education gets you wealthy. They invest more money in their continuing education than most people invest in their entire retirement. This investment in yourself pays the highest dividends of any investment you can make. The stock market might give you 10% annual returns, but increasing your skills can give you 100% or 1000% returns through higher income, better opportunities, and increased business success. The fifth discipline is network building through meaningful relationships with people who elevate your thinking and create opportunities. You intentionally connect with one new person each week who operates at a higher level than you do financially, professionally, or personally. This is not about using people. It's about mutual value creation. You look for ways to help others achieve their goals while learning from their experience and expertise. You understand that your network determines your net worth because opportunities flow through relationships. Most people network only when they need something, which makes their networking efforts feel desperate and self-serving. But wealthy people network continuously, building relationships during good times so they have support during challenging times and partners during opportunity times. The sixth discipline is value creation focus that drives everything you do professionally. Every day you ask yourself, how can I serve better, solve bigger problems, and create more value today? You measure your success not by how much you receive, but by how much you give. This focus on value creation is the secret to unlimited income. When you become obsessed with creating value for others, money flows to you naturally, because money is simply a measure of value created. The more problems you solve, the more needs you meet, the more value you provide, the more wealth flows back to you. But you cannot provide value at a level higher than your personal development. So value creation and skill development work together. You develop yourself so you can serve others better, and serving others better motivates you to develop yourself further. These daily disciplines create a compound effect that transforms average people into wealthy people over time. But disciplines alone are not enough. You must also have a system for implementing these disciplines immediately and consistently. Right now, as you listen to these words, you have a choice. You can let this information become another collection of good ideas that you never act upon, or you can use it as the foundation for immediate transformation that begins today. The wealthy make decisions quickly and change them slowly. The poor make decisions slowly and change them quickly. Which pattern describes your approach to financial improvement? If you're serious about transforming your financial life, then you must be willing to start implementing these disciplines within the next 24 hours. Not next week, not next month, not when conditions are perfect. Today, here's your 24-hour transformation challenge that will set the foundation for your wealthy future. In the next hour, you will write down your specific financial goals with exact dollar amounts and specific deadlines. Not vague wishes like, I want to be rich, but precise targets like, I will have $100,000 in liquid savings by December 31st next year. Vague goals produce vague results. Specific goals create specific plans that produce specific results. In the second hour, you will calculate exactly how much you need to save and invest daily to reach your goals. If you want $100,000 in 5 years and you can earn 8% annually on your investments, you need to invest approximately. This calculation transforms your dream into a daily discipline. In the third hour, you will contact your bank and set up automatic transfers that make saving and investing effortless. You will automate your wealth building so it happens whether you feel motivated or not, whether you remember or not, whether life gets busy or not. In the fourth hour, you will identify and eliminate one financial waste from your life. Cancel a subscription you don't use, eliminate a habit that drains money without adding value, or reduce an expense that doesn't contribute to your goals. This creates immediate cash flow that can be redirected toward wealth building. In the fifth hour, you will begin reading the first chapter of a book about wealth building, business, development, or personal success. You will not read for entertainment, you will read for education and transformation. You will take notes and identify specific actions you can implement immediately. In the sixth hour, you will reach out to one person who is more financially successful than you are. You will not ask for money or immediate help. You will offer value, express genuine interest in their success, and begin building a relationship that could create opportunities for both of you. These 6 hours will create more progress toward your financial goals than most people make in 6 months, because most people never move beyond good intentions to actual implementation. But one day of right action must become 1 week of right actions, which must become 1 month of right habits, which must become 1 year of consistent disciplines. Here's your weekly wealth building system that will accelerate your progress exponentially. Monday is Financial Planning Day. You review your goals, track your progress, and plan your week's financial priorities. You ask yourself, what must I do this week to move closer to my wealth target? You schedule specific times for wealth building activities so they become appointments with your future rather than activities you'll do if you have time. Tuesday is Skill Development Day. You focus intensively on learning new capabilities that increase your value to the marketplace. You take an online course, read industry publications, practice new techniques, or study successful people in your field. You understand that your income can only grow as fast as your abilities grow. Wednesday is Network Building Day. You reach out to existing contacts to maintain relationships and connect with new people who can expand your opportunities. You offer help, share valuable information, or simply express genuine interest in others' success. You plant relationship seeds that will grow into opportunity trees. Thursday is Investment Research Day. You study potential investments, analyze market trends, research companies or properties, and educate yourself about financial markets. You understand that investment returns are directly related to investment knowledge, so you continuously expand your financial intelligence. Friday is Value Creation Day. You focus entirely on how you can serve your customers, clients, or employer better. You look for problems to solve, needs to meet, and ways to exceed expectations. You understand that extraordinary value creation leads to extraordinary financial rewards. Saturday is Strategic Thinking Day. You step back from daily activities and think about bigger picture opportunities. You analyze trends, consider new possibilities, evaluate your current strategies, and plan major moves that could accelerate your wealth building. Sunday is Rest and Reflection Day. You recharge your physical and mental energy while reflecting on your progress and recommitting to your goals. You do not work on Sunday, but you do think about your work with gratitude and anticipation. This weekly system ensures that you're consistently taking actions that build wealth while maintaining balance and avoiding burnout. But even weekly systems need monthly and annual frameworks to create long-term success. Your monthly discipline is to calculate your net worth on the same day each month, tracking your progress toward financial independence. You celebrate increases and analyze decreases. You adjust your strategies based on results and recommit to your disciplines based on your vision. Your quarterly discipline is to review and revise your financial goals based on your progress and changing such. You increase goals that you're achieving easily and modify goals that prove unrealistic. You ensure that your targets continue to inspire action rather than creating this. Your annual discipline is to create a comprehensive financial plan for the coming year, including income targets, savings goals, investment strategies, and skill development priorities. You treat this planning session as the most important business meeting of your year, because your financial future depends on the decisions you make during this session. These systems transform wealth building from a sporadic hobby into a systematic profession. They ensure that you're always moving toward your goals rather than hoping to reach them someday. But systems and disciplines mean nothing without the commitment to use them consistently, especially when you don't feel like it, especially when progress seems slow, especially when others don't understand your dedication. The person who practices these disciplines for 30 days will see noticeable improvement in their financial situation. The person who practices them for 1 year will experience dramatic transformation. The person who practices them for 5 years will likely achieve financial independence. The person who practices them for a lifetime will almost certainly become wealthy. The question is not whether these disciplines work, they do. The question is whether you will work the disciplines long enough to let them work for you. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 month and underestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year with consistent daily action. They want immediate gratification from long-term strategies. They expect overnight success from practices that build wealth gradually. But wealth building is not about dramatic transformations. It's about consistent improvements compounded over time. It's about making slightly better choices more often than you make worse choices. It's about building systems that make success inevitable rather than hoping for circumstances that make success possible. Every morning, when you wake up, you have a choice. You can spend another day explaining why your financial situation hasn't changed, or you can spend the day taking actions that will change your financial situation. You can focus on all the reasons why wealth building is difficult, or you can focus on the specific steps that make wealth building systematic. The choice you make tomorrow morning will be the same choice you made this morning, which was the same choice you made yesterday morning. Your financial future is not determined by dramatic decisions made occasionally. It's determined by simple disciplines practiced daily. I opened by telling you that every morning you wake up as either a creator or a victim of your financial destiny. And this single choice determines whether you will spend your life building wealth or explaining why you don't have it. Tonight, when you lay your head on your pillow, you will either be closer to your wealth goals because you took specific actions today, or you will have another day of good intentions that produced no measurable result. Tomorrow morning, you will either wake up as someone who is actively building wealth through daily disciplines, or someone who is passively hoping for better circumstances. The universe has given you everything you need to create financial abundance: intelligence to understand principles, opportunity to apply them, and time to let them compound into extraordinary results. What you do with these gifts in the next 24 hours will determine whether you look back 1 year from now as someone who finally took control of their financial destiny, or someone who let another opportunity slip away. Your millionaire self is not a distant dream, it's a present possibility waiting for your decision to claim it through daily action. The disciplines I've shared with you are not suggestions. They are requirements for anyone serious about building lasting wealth. The time for excuses has ended. The time for action has arrived. The choice is yours. The power is within you, and the moment is now. I am a multimillionaire, not because I was born different, not because I had better opportunities, not because I was lucky with timing. I am a multimillionaire because I chose to think differently, act differently, and discipline myself differently than most people are willing to do. Today, you have that same choice. Tomorrow, you will live with the consequences of the choice you make today. Make it count because your wealthy future depends on it.